Fantasy Pro Insider, True Fan Sport. We're back. Week 13, running backs, tight end ranking. Sorry about that. We Guru was making some little jokes offline there. But we are back. Let's get these rankings started for Guru. We'll kick this thing off, man. Number one, we had a new running back that took over that number one spot, Jonathan Taylor out of Indiana Colts. Number two, surprise, surprise, surprise. No more Dalvin Cook out for a couple of weeks. Insert Alexander Madison out of Minnesota. He's your number two for this week against a pretty weak Detroit defense. Number three, Austin Eckler. Number four, Joe Mixon. Number five, Alvin Kamara. 6, Najee Harris out of Pittsburgh. 7, Leonard Fournette out of Tampa Bay. 8, Cordell Patterson. Number 9, Saquon Barkley. And rounding out your top 10 of running backs, Josh Jacobs out of my Las Vegas Raiders. Boom.
Playing well they are. Nice little upset over the Cowboys last week. That was nice.
Yeah.
Moving on, number 11, James Conner of the Cards. Number 11 at the Bears. Number 12, Elijah Mitchell, the 49ers at Seahawks. Number 13, Daryl Henderson, if he plays, is number 13. If not, you can just plug Sony Michel right in to that 13 ranking, and they won't miss a beat. Going ahead from there, we have number 14, James Robinson of the Jags in the same game. Number 15, David Montgomery, a beloved Bear. Number 16, Ezekiel Elliott. They say they're going to take it a little easy on him over the next few weeks. He's got a knee issue, not bad enough to miss the games, but just enough to use Pollard a little more. I don't know what the hell that means, but they're going to rest him a little bit during the games. Number 17, Antonio Gibson, the Washington football team at the Raiders. Hopefully their defense gives him fits. Number 18, Clyde Edward-Helaire. The Chiefs, they're home against the Broncos. Number 19, Damian Harris of the Patriots at the Bills. Rounding out the top 20 is Miles Sanders of the Eagles, and they are home against the Jets.
Okay. Melvin Gordon, number 21, out of Denver. 22, Jamal Williams out of Detroit. He'll be getting the notch this week. DeAndre Swift is probably going to not suit up for this week. Keep an eye on him, but the reports say right now that DeAndre Swift probably won't be able to play this week. 23, Javonte Williams out of Denver. 24, Tony Pollard out of Dallas. 25, DeAndre Swift out of Detroit, so keep an eye on him. 26, oh my goodness, how you pronounce this man's first name? Ramondre Stevenson out of New England. 27, Devonta Freeman out of Baltimore. 8, Myles Gaskin out of Miami. 29, David Johnson out of Houston Texans. Rounding out your top 30 of running backs, Devin Singletary out of the Buffalo Bills. So that rounds up your top of running backs right there. Let's move right over to the tight ends, Guru. What do you say?
All right, what we say is the same old at the top of the tight end rankings. Travis Kelce of the Chiefs, home against the Broncos. Number 2 is George Kittle, the 49ers. Again, with Deebo Samuel out, he looks to have a few extra targets like he needs them to be an elite tight end, but he'll get more looks. Number 3, Rob Gronkowski of the Bucs playing at the Falcons. Should be a field day for that offense. Number 4, Mark Andrews of the Ravens. Number 5, Zach Ertz of the Cards playing the Bears. Number 6, Kyle Pitts of the Falcons at home against the Bucs. Number 7, Dallas Goedert of the Eagles at the Jets. Number 8, Dalton Schultz of the Cowboys. He seems to be coming along nicely in that offense. Hopefully he don't take a step back with those 2 wide receivers getting healthy. Number 9, T.J. Hawkinson. And, I think this guy would be a top 5 tight end in any other situation. That offense is nasty. Man, is it?
Yeah.
And he's paying the price for it. And rounding out the top 10 of the Broncos, we have Noah Fant at the Chiefs.
Okay. We're going to keep this thing going. Number 11, Logan Thomas. He is back with the Washington football team of this week. Number 12, Dawson Knox, Buffalo. 13, we've got Mike Gesicki out of Miami. 14, Jared Cook out of the Chargers. 15, Tyler Higbee, the Los Angeles Rams. 16, C.J. Uzuma out of Cincinnati. 17, Hunter Henry out of New England. 18, Cole Kmet, Chicago Bears. 19, we've got Donald Parkman out of the Parkham, I'm sorry, out of Los Angeles Chargers. And rounding out your top 20 tight ends will be Evan Ingrams out of the New York Football Giants. That wraps up your top 20 of tight ends. Guru, give him a little side piece there with a get him a 4-piece, maybe 3-piece dinner with a biscuit on the side.
Well, we'll officially wave goodbye to McCaffrey for the season. It was nice while we knew you, man, but you're gone. Uh, and it's obviously based on what we saw, what little we saw of him this year, that he's still on the top of his game. He still got it. First two games this year, he had 170 rushing yards, 14 receptions for 155 yards and a score. And he also had a few decent games afterwards, um, even with Cam Newton there. He still managed to put up numbers for his fantasy GMs out there. But Cam Newton kind of stole his thunder. He also vultured 3 touchdowns inside the 5-yard
Right,
lines.
man.
Yeah, well, 2 of them rushing and 1 passing. How many teams throw from the 2-yard line? Not many. Uh, it cost. What it did was it cost 2 wins with his selfish and ineffective play. And now they've paid the guy $10 million to bring him in for the rest of the season, and he's already been benched. So, sayonara, Cam Newton. They're sitting at 5-7 now with no clear path to the playoffs, and it's possibly the reason they made the decision to shut Christian McCaffrey down for the season, because they have. I mean, it seemed awful sudden. He was jogging on the sidelines after the injury, and they have a bye week coming up. I couldn't understand why now they make the decision to shut him down for the year. Why don't you wait till after the bye, see how his
You know what I
ankle
mean?
responds,
Seriously,
give him
man.
in the middle of
Seriously.
next week. Give the guy until the middle of next week. You got 10 days to heal up. Unless they saw a bone spur, a chip, something in there they're not saying. Which, and I've mentioned this before, these these NFL GMs and their coaching staffs nowadays, they keep playing games with the injury list, and it's ridiculous. You didn't even know Alvin Kamara was hurt 3 or 4 weeks ago now.
Right.
But
Right.
next thing you know, you hear, oh, he's going to miss one game, and now he's 3 out. And guess what? He may not be ready for Thursday again. They say now, playing the Cowboys. It's like, come on, guys, get this figured out. I know they don't know the fantasy people anything, but it's nice to let your fans know what's going on with their teams that we're supporting. Um, so once again, Chuba Hubbard have been thrust into the starting lineup, and this time, like I said, it looks like it's for the rest of the season. But there's something very interesting to note, and that's Amir Abdullah. During this last game, he out-snapped and seriously outplayed Hubbard. That is Sunday after McCaffrey's departure. And
Yeah.
Hubbard, while filling in, he was okay this year.
Yeah.
But he didn't exactly set the world on fire with his play. And they may
Right.
see if Abdullah has a little spark in there that Hubbard seems to lack. Like I said, he played all right, but they need a spark on offense. And maybe maybe Hubbard's not the guy. Maybe Abdullah is. We'll find out. But that's
After the bye
somebody.
week.
That's a speculative pickup if you're out there and you need running back help, or you just want to secure a possibility for something down the stretch there. Abdullah, keep him in your mind, and maybe even if you got room on your roster, pick him up and stash him. Not many people have the room on their roster, especially this time of year, because they got their own backups to worry about, their own handcuffs. But I'm just saying, or if you own Hubbard, you may want to put Abdullah in there just in case Hubbard falls through the cracks. All that said, with 4 teams on a bye this week, Jay, do you have any running backs
Well,
out there that you might want to keep an eye on?
before we get to that, just to go back on that Abdullah and Hubbard, you saying that I mean, it looks like Abdullah outplayed Hubbard, uh, and outsnapped him even when McCaffrey was there. So even though they're on a bye week, Hubbard would be a guy maybe to pick up if he's available. To have him, if you can fit him on your bench, without getting having out to lose anybody, he would be a good guy to pick up. Is that what you're saying, Guru?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was saying. That during the game the other night, or the other day when McCaffrey went down, uh, Hubbard wasn't getting it done, so they went ahead and they leaned on Abdullah, and he played well. And give just a few snaps. He had almost 50 yards rushing on 8 attempts, I believe, and he showed that he could handle the offense if he's given the opportunity. So hopefully they do give him a chance, but hopefully it doesn't cost Hubbard his gig. First you want to see the guy succeed. You don't want to wish bad on anybody. So, but if he does fall through, it's just something to keep in mind for fantasy owners out there.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good, Guru. So let's see here. Going back, you had asked me if there was any backs there. Let me take a quick look at some of these backs. A guy that I had to go out and kind of do some digging on. With my loss of Christian McCaffrey, actually, my loss of DeAndre Swift. You know what I mean? So I'm hurting a little bit there. I'm keeping my eye out this week on Javonte Williams out of Denver Broncos. Even though Melvin Gordon has still had a few more reps than him, but Javonte Williams is a guy who I think you should also maybe pick up if he's out there. Pick him up on a waiver wire. He can get it done in the backfield and out and in the passing game. Just kind of looking at his numbers from from some previous week there. Let me pull my my data up here. He was last week against the Los Angeles Chargers. He had 14 rushing attempts, 54 yards with a rushing TD, targeted 4 times, 3 receptions for 57 yards. So he's going to give you some good balance there. And Melvin Gordon was, he was hurt early on, able to come back though. So keep an eye on Javonte Williams. He's my guy for this week. I picked him up. I need to keep this thing rolling because I'm in first place in my league. So he's a guy I'm starting in my starting. I'm actually going to start him this week. So bet on him this week. I'm betting on him. You can bet on him too.
Yeah, I look to and this guy might be available in a few leagues. Maybe not a ton, but Myles Gaskin with the Dolphins. Um, he had 23 carries last week for 90 yards. Didn't find his way in the end zone. I think that'll change this week.
Yeah.
Taking on the Giants, they're playing in Miami. Giants defense hasn't really put up a struggle to many teams this year. They did play the Cowboys pretty well earlier once this year, but I think that was a fluke. Look for Gaskins to have a nice game, and another guy. If you're in a pinch, um, Devonta Freeman of the Ravens. He's doing
Yeah.
just enough to be.
Man, I'm looking at his
He's
right now. I just pulled him up. Just pulled him up. Yeah.
and
You're right.
he's doing just enough to warrant that RB2 if you're in trouble or flex consideration still. Um, so I mean, like I said, if you're in a pinch, it's another guy to
Yeah.
uh, keep your eyes on. And then Tony Pollard, he may not be available in places, but give him a little extra consideration. They've mentioned several times that they're going to rest Ezekiel Elliott during the games. He's not going to be sidelined completely, but they may uh, have Tony Pollard be the lead back for the next few weeks. Still
Yep.
keeping Ezekiel Elliott involved, keeping him fresh, and but keeping him rested. Getting him playing enough to keep him, to keep him from getting rusty, but letting him get enough rest to heal up.
Yeah.
That said,
Yeah.
tight ends, we got again a few teams on a bye. Um, Notice Waller wasn't in the tight end rankings. I believe he's out this week. They
Hmm.
said he may not play, so that's a tough break for their offense there. Um,
Okay.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
they can get him some treatment and get him in the lineup, but it looks like he's out.
Yeah.
But if you do need to fill in for somebody this week, I think Donald Parham of the Chargers, that's pass happy offense out there. Not the greatest option in the world, but I think he's due. Just a gut feeling. And then CJ Uzuma, he's out there in quite a few leagues. The Bengals are going to be playing the Rams, so they're going to have to keep up on offense. I think Uzuma is probably their second best option in the passing game there. So I mean, they look to him quite a bit. They look to him in the red zone, and I think he'll get. I think he's good for 50 and a tutty this week. Just because they'll be playing from behind. Usually, Jared Cook is the go-to guy there. Going back to the other game earlier I just mentioned with the Chargers, but like I said, Parham is due. Like I said, they're a pass-happy offense, so keep Donald Parham in your sights if you need some bye-week help. And that's pretty much what I got. I'd just like to go back to the wide receivers, even though this isn't the wide receiver segment. Last week, told you all, Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys. I said, get him in your lineup. If both Cooper and Lamb are gone, he was gone. He put up over 100 yards on 7 receptions, 17 points in PPR. That was good for a top 10 performance this past week. So, I don't want to sit here and, break my arm, pat myself on the back, but throwing this information out so everybody can take advantage of it. And hopefully the information that I gave you this week turns out to be just as good as in weeks past. We'd just like to have everybody get back back online here with us and like, subscribe, and spread the news. And you can also write us at any time, send us a message, send us an email, any football-related questions you have, whether it's daily fantasy, whether it's for your yearly league, whatever you want to do. I'll take some time and get and I'll study the situation for you and give you the best logical answer that I can come up with, by the numbers. And hopefully I can help some people down the stretch. And Jay, the same way. Jay is he's phenomenal, by the way. Just not to sit here and pat my own self on the back. Jay's a wealth, if you will, of knowledge, fantasy-wise. He's been playing for over a decade now. So he knows his way around. So any help at all that we can either one of us can offer you, we're more than happy to get you guys some help and or just advice and help you get some wins lined up. And that said, I think we're just about done for week 13.
All righty. Well, hey, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Fantasy Pro Insider, True Fan Sports Week 13, QBs, running backs, receivers, tight ends, and more and more and more to give you that dub for this week in Week 13. Playoffs is right around the corner, people. Right around the corner. Look at those lineups. Make sure you're nice and tight this time of the year. Look at some backups. See what's going on out there and get that lineup tight because you're going to need it once those playoffs starts in a couple of weeks. So that's all we have for this week. I'm the Warden. He's the Guru. I'm going to sit here and say peace. Guru, what you got for him?
I have one more quick piece of advice. Watch your lineups closely on Sunday morning and Thursday afternoon to make sure there's no surprise players that are on the bench that aren't playing to cost yourself a spot, a dead spot in your lineup. That kills people all season, but it really hurts if you're jockeying for a playoff spot. So make sure you're watching your lineups at the last minute to make sure you don't get shocked. And that said, we are done. So you folks have great luck this weekend, and we shall talk to you folks next week.